One, you're on. Good evening. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And with all the bullshit that's going on in the world, we just want to share something tonight, just to think of it a bit. Give it to the children, let them think of it. You think of it and kick it around because we're going to be asking some questions tonight. Simple stuff 4-year-old could understand. With everything that's going on in the world today, what is the outcome? I mean, what is the end game of what all this information that's being pushed out on us? What's the end game? We must ask ourselves these questions. We also have to ask ourselves, what do we lose by not believing in this bullshit? What do we have to lose with all this stuff? We're going to talk about that tonight. And seriously, this is something you have to think about because a lot of us believe in bullshit that don't have nothing to do with us. It runs the gamut: education, church, blah, 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 whatever. I haven't seen America what these cats talk about yet. It's an illusion because they played with the word just like they play with you. The same people who they're putting out today, all this court stuff and all this child pedophile stuff, those same people are the same people that named you black, didn't they? Now, you might not like what's being said tonight. So if you're one of those people, like black people are, you don't want to be here. Guess who's back, y'all? Guess who's back? And I missed her voice more than you guys did. Yes, I did. Lisa.
Hello, Kayuk. Greetings. Wingapo, everyone. How you doing? Copper colored lifestyle. Nice. I'm excited. I'm excited to be back. It's so good. I always like to feel the energy and the intellect of the indigenous one. It does motivate and innovate.
I was on this program the other day and the lady said something that she heard me say 10 years ago.
Hmm.
It brought me to tears. I was like, what?
Wow.
So,
That's
so
cool.
yeah, so you're right. The energy that comes from people is cool because we're not up here trying to bullshit nobody.
Mm-hmm.
We This world is in an awful mess by these demons that they show you on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and how we just push our kid. Not all of us, not you, but you know what I'm saying. This whole thing that's falling down now. Check out the people, and these are the people that we love. We are fighting for. He's my favorite. Seriously, because that's what the Negro does. Follow other people. Never comes up with the solution in his own mind and follow the solution. Don't you? Because a lot of us have suffered in this whole thing by those people who want to be close to those people. It's a lot of people want to be up there with them cats. Will do anything to be there. They show you. Pay attention to what's going on, y'all, because then you'll know. You'll know their every move. All you have to do is pay attention. Now, my question to Lisa is, what do we have to lose by keep believing in this junk? What do we have to lose?
I I think that I was trying to figure that out. I was trying to figure out because it's like people will fight you, people will be angry, they will curse you, they if just for questioning some of the things that they hold, and I don't even think they hold it dear. They just hold on to. And what is it that they have to lose by not believing in the bull crap and understanding that it is all bull? Like, what do you have to lose? And I think it boils down to following the crowd, belonging, right? They're scared not to belong by being different, by not believing. People rather be a monster than be different. Most of those people that did probably the stuff that's involved with Epstein and all that, they was getting along with their peer groups, right? Getting along with their elite peer groups. That's what you do when you got this level of money that you can do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. That's what they're showing us, right? They're showing us with Epstein, we're showing us with P. Diddy, they're showing us with Jay-Z. They are showing you when you are on a certain level, you do what you want. They
And
also, sorry, go ahead.
you're the bait.
Right. They're also showing you there's no repercussions, right? Because what really happens to these people that do whatever they want? Well, if you're a Negro, you may go to jail. But have we seen anyone really go to jail? Really go to jail? That's not for the stuff that they're doing. There's no Epstein list of prisoners. There's no Epstein Island list of people being arrested. And then the really crazy thing is nobody's checking. Nobody even cares because guess what? In our mind, we run our lives like loops of a movie, like loops of a commercial. Oh, they caught the bad guy. It's over. Really? How is he the bad guy? We don't even know that he is the bad guy. He's a coordinator, but does that make him the bad guy? Does there have to be one quote unquote bad guy? Can't be. Right? But
Right.
yet, that's what our minds want to make it into. Our minds want to make it small so we don't have to deal with the work. Because you got to be angry, and you might want to have to do something about something if you thought there was more to do. I don't know, Carrie. What do you think?
Ask the young lady. It's to me, it's just simple. Ain't no leaders coming, none of that shit's happening. Asked the young lady the other day. She's about 50, 55. I asked her, what in your life have you invented that you interact with on a daily basis? Nothing. I suppose if you ask this to 98% of the population, they would say nothing. Everything that you do, everything that you say, every thought in your head is on being somebody else, trying to look like somebody else, wanting to be somebody else, not wanting to be you.
Hmm.
Every day. Now, most people will lie and say, but then when you ask them to give you an example, they don't do it.
Hmm.
So when she say, people would rather be monsters than being themselves or doing the right thing, she ain't lying. We would rather be other things, monsters, whatever they are. Remember, we wanted to sit in their lap. We wanted to eat out their plates. That was yesterday. And I literally mean yesterday. Since you've been broken off from your time space continuum, you don't know what time it is. The average Black person. Remember, these people named you Black, didn't they? And when they named you Black, you looked at yourself and said you were Black. You do that. Most do that today. Most. Nothing Black about them by the definition of the word, by the look of the word. There's nothing Black about them. They just do what other people, the people who are rounding you up now, just do what they say do. Isn't that how it goes?
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Isn't that how that is?
That's the way it is. Why do we get why do we why are we like this? Why are we, like she said, this mediocrity? Why are we satisfied with that? Um yeah, they got a list. Whoop-de-woo, you know? We've Edgar, what was his name? J. Edgar Hoover had a list. We've been having lists. There's all kinds of lists. It's blacklisted, all kinds of lists. It lists daggone, people, communists, all kinds of lists we've had. They went, but this list is the most atrocious list, right? Disgusting, right? Devastating, demonic, satanic, whatever you want to call it, whatever. Some people are like, well, this is not bad to be satanic. Satanic and demonic is not bad, good Satan worshipers. Okay. Right. Whatever. Like this is the thing. We have a tremendous amount of people in this world who have become so hedonistic that all they think about is their satisfaction. And so it starts off with like items or accumulation, and it ends up with whatever else satisfies you. There's no end to it. That's why it gets to the point when you have so much that you can't buy a watch, you can't buy enough cars, you got all those. And so next thing you want are humans. Because you got everything else, right? Now, when you have enough wealth, you essentially do own humans because you own businesses and you own people and you control their livelihood and their life and all that. But then that becomes boring. So then you feel like, well, you want to be able to control their life, literally. You want to be able to consume them, literally, because you already control their life. So you want to be able to ingest them. Ingest them, literally. See, it's insatiable, right? Because when you continue to want to one up yourself, what is the end game to your need for hedonistic happiness? Okay? That's what they're showing you. But at the same time, they're showing you the end game. They're actually attracting you to the end game. Have you thought of that? Have you thought about the fact that everybody's all interested in the list, but nobody's interested in resolution, revenge, restitution, rescuing? All them R's are being like, nobody's trying to get this resolved, right? Where's the children? Let's get the people. Let's track these mother suckers down. Let's find the babies and the young women and men. Let's get them help. Help? No, nobody's talking about getting nobody help. You know why? Because they're desensitizing y'all to how this disgusting behavior, they're normalizing it. And by you not having an outcry of where's the justice, they know it works. They know it's working. Because you don't really care about the victims. The proof's in the pudding. Nobody cares about that. They like hearing about the salacious, those Epstein. And they go online, they talk about it. They talk about how, I'm just appalled by this list of, but they're not really, are they? They're not. They're tantalized. They're excited by it. And you know what happens when you start being excited by it? All of a sudden, that becomes an attraction. Next thing you know, that attraction becomes a desire. They know this. They know you better than you know you. You're being programmed and you don't even know it. This stuff, if this stuff was meant to put an end to it, to resolve it, then you would see it happening. But it's not happening, and you don't even care because it's not meant to do this. This stuff is just, you're being groomed. The entire planet is being groomed to be friggin' monsters. What you guys say about that?
Literal monsters.
Right.
I think you and I earlier talked about that guy named Nygaard. He was taking some sisters to Abu Dhabi or so, wining them and dining them, but he likes to do it to Negro women so he can get their eggs and whatever. They've made a lot of movies and films that have been coming out about it. And how we're always, nigga, you broke, you ain't got, to push us towards that. If you notice these cats that do that, get these sisters and take them and wine and dine them, get them a brand new purse, all that insignificant shit. If you look at these cats, they look like monsters, y'all. I mean, damn. This is right in our face. They don't look like that's their teeth in their mouth. They don't look like that's their hair. They don't look like that's their skin. Check out all this makeup and all this stuff that they getting people into now. All these masks over their face. Notice who you dealing with. Notice who's presenting anything to you to take you to where's that? Dubai? It's a desert in the middle of a whole bunch of make believe stuff that they put there. It's kind of like a Disneyland. It's a desert. There's nothing there. Only thing there is artificial shit. That's it. If you think you're going there looking for something, you're not. And you can get our women to be like, ooh, trying to make us think that it's someplace to be. It's not. It's a desert. A desert means nothing. Nothing can grow. It's a desert. And it seems like that's what I mean, seriously. The, the soul that's been taken, that we have given up, the soul that we sell, that's all that's left is desert. It's desert. They can tell you anything, and they do. And we just fall into it like we supposed to. And if we don't do it, we ain't gonna be nothing. This is how far we've sunk. And we're trying to take our kids even further down. That's what I think of it, Lisa.
Could you make the statement about that you made earlier about Epstein and Bitcoin? Because that's where the thumbnail came from.
Guy asked me today, he said, do you think Epstein, Bitcoin was an Epstein invention? I don't think it's just him, because that's what we were talking about earlier, how it's one person. We think it's one person, case solved. They're dead, the problem's over with. No, shit keep happening. It's not just one person. It's and this is what I say. Anybody you see on the TV screen, they want to do what? Make money. Once they get in there making money, somebody comes to them and say, you want to do something else to make more money. Yeah. Well, if you do this, shit, man, you make $500,000. What I do? This is how it goes. You've seen it. I know people be like, hey, it ain't like that. Shut up. It is. It's exactly like that. All these people you see on screen, how everybody wants the new purse, the new shoes, everybody got 200 pair of Jordans, blah, blah, all that. What kind of people do you think they are? I don't care if it's whoever. Just got to have stuff for nothing. Somebody can come up here right now and explain to me that's their purpose on earth, to accumulate things. Got the floor.
I just saw a video the other day of them talking about purses, like you just mentioned, people collecting purses and stuff. And I thought, okay, they're saying that a lot of these purses people are losing interest in. They're not really worth anything. They have no resale value anymore. And I was like, oh, finally, maybe people will stop being ridiculous and buying these dumb expensive purses. Well, the catch was, yeah, the most popular Negro purses, that's what they talked about was worthless. Like Louis and Coach and that kind of stuff. What they did was they upped the ante so that now all that stuff is not worth shit. In order to have anything worth anything, you got to buy a Hermes or some of these other like ridiculously priced, like really outrageously priced. I was like, that's some bullshit. So then now they're getting the niggas to take a damn I don't know months of rent and shit, months and months for a purse. Come on now, come on. Like, see, they're always manipulating us, and until we understand that this is all a mass manipulation, like you were mentioning earlier, like the Truman Show, we are the subject of mass manipulation, and it's constant. It's constant. And until we realize that we, as the indigenous people of this land, cannot afford to believe the BS. We can't, because that's how they get us, and that's how they keep us, and that's how they want us, and that's how they destroy us. Until we understand that we can't afford to be those manipulated people, we can't afford to be naive, we can't afford to be gullible, right? And we cannot afford to be followers. We have to be fearless, right? We can't be fearful. We can't be gullible. We can't be followers. Not in this world. We can't let someone turn our head, because while they're turning our head, they're turning down our pockets. They're taking our children, literally.
Copper Color Lifestyle. I have one question for you. What is Dubai chocolate? What is that? Because I've been seeing it everywhere. Do they grow cocoa beans in the desert? What is it? Anything they say. Anything they say. They can tell you when a fly shit, it comes out the same size as an elephant shit. You'd believe it. The average person would believe it, would argue it. Whatever they tell you, you believe. Lisa made a statement earlier, and it's true. What happened to the war in Ukraine? But I mean, they tell you a story, get you all into it, then they move to something else. This is the world you're leaving your children. This is the world the children are going to inherit. Back when they used to make music, real music, where there was instruments, these guys used to write songs. These were young cats, 22, 26 years old. And this one guy, and you've probably heard of him. I can't imagine people today ever heard of this cat named Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye this was a young man too. The words he was writing, and he had this one cut, and if you hear it, it'll be in your rotation. He had a song called Save the Babies. What, this about 50 years ago, Lisa? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he had a song called Save the Babies. If you listen to it, you would think he wrote it today. He was still alive. That's what the artist used to be like. There was also this artist, they were contemporaries. They came up in the same time, named Stevie Wonder. This cat couldn't even see, so they say.
So they say.
So Stevie Wonder had a song. Now this cat, I heard he was 26. Now just imagine a 26-year-old writing something like this today. I might mix up the words, but you'll get the point. So when you say so next time you say you're in it but not of it, you're not busy to you some oh man, I'm gonna mess it up. You're not happy till you get to a place called hell. So make sure you're in it but not of it. You're not happy till you get to a place sometimes called hell. Turn your words into truth and then change that truth into love. And maybe our children, grandchildren, and great great grandchildren will tell. Wrote this song a few years after Marvin Gaye. Look at what's happening to your artist, people who can see what most of us can't see, very people that are important to your collective. Do you have those same people today? Do you have those same type of artists today? Matter of fact, the past 40 years. What kind of artists have you had? The same type that we're talking about today. People who just want to leave the ghetto. I just had it so hard in the ghetto. I gotta get out of here. Same story, and they've turned you into what you are today. Women that'll go fly on a jet. And these are, people that can be they're young, don't know anything. You can tell by the way they dress. They look like pseudo white girls. And and the men the same way. Whatever you put on is something that you bought from your boss. Yes or no? That's where you are today. Please, you can come up and explain to me how it's not like that. Whatever food they concoct, you should see how they make shrimp now. You'll eat it and slap the shit out of somebody who tell you not to eat it. It's poison. You've given up the ability for you to feed yourself on your land and don't care, arrogant about it. That's the Black or African American. So my question, and this is a simple question, where's all this stuff taking you? All the news, going to Dubai. What is all that doing for you? Seriously. And if you ask your kids that, the younger the better, they'll give you the answer. So that's why they attack these little kids. They're pure soul, pure soul. And they take them, and you see what they're doing to these children. I don't know if you remember, this was about 19. '89, the McMartin preschool in California. You remember that, Lisa?
Oh, what happened? I mean,
Mc,
not by the
Mc,
name.
McMartin preschool, where these same people were going to these preschools underground, abducting these kids. It back in the '89. I think of the '89 and '90 when it happened. This
Mm,
was all over the news, just like Epstein.
mm.
Huge. These churches are into it. Who guess who in the church more than anybody?
Who?
You gon- you better stop playing with Jesus, girl.
Mm,
Better stop that.
mm.
What about, do they tell you about Epstein and these religious people? Isn't that where a lot of the babies are? Isn't that where you first went to school, the Sunday school?
Used to be.
It ain't like that no more.
It's falling off. Bad. Like good, but it's falling off. It definitely is falling off. I mean, you know why? Because politically, they don't do their job anymore. They're not really good at because they've fallen off. They're not really good at controlling the indigenous people like they used to be able to. When they told you who to vote for, what to think, what to believe, and it worked. But now, because of, like I say, post COVID, people aren't really. They stopped. They stopped because they were like, "Look, I guess I don't gotta go. Look, I didn't go to hell. My life did not change and I didn't go during COVID. I would listen to it on the radio or listen to it on the computer or whatever, maybe, and it didn't change anything. So even though the old folks got away from it and anybody new that was young that was starting to get into it, just it fell off. Plus, then you got all this exposure like TD Jakes and all this other stuff. And understand that before that stuff has started happening, we didn't have too many scandals other than Reverend Ike in our church life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So these exposures, um, for us is very, very devastating because we're very self-critical anyway. You know what I mean? And they
right.
know it. They know that when things happen, we feel like it's like a national shame. It's not just like that person when they do these acts of humiliation to our celebrities or to our leaders or anybody who we admire. It has a devastating effect on the psyche of us as a people. That's because we are a nation that is connected by blood, and that's why it affects us in that way. They know us better than we know. We don't know who we are, and we don't know how connected we are. We don't know what how we respond to things and how these things impact us. They do, because all they've done in order to survive and to take what they've taken from us is study us.
So what I found funny around here is the churches are going around giving out trafficking cards.
What's the card say?
First of all, it's written in like and size letters.
Hmm,
Nothing.
hmm.
But I find it funny because the church is into all of this. The Bible tells you to do what these cats are doing now. It tells you to do that. That's how you know these Christians are fake because they don't read it. Because by now, man, I know people who Bibles look like coloring books. They got so much color ink in there, and
Yeah,
ain't highlighted shit that makes sense.
right.
Read it. And I notice that stuff is the stuff that's not crossed out. That stuff is not highlighted.
That's a fact.
Everything, check it out.
Right.
And for something, dude, you don't see that. It's every day reading the Bible at lunchtime.
Right.
Every day.
But you guess what? Guess what's gonna really, really kill him? Trump is just the one to take away their tax exemptions. Watch the outcry when that happens. That's gonna be something else. But it's gonna happen, and it's really not happening because of Trump. It's happening because, like I said, when you don't complete the assignment, when you fail to complete it, you get done away with. And the church is one of those factions who have failed in the assignment. Didn't they get rid of Marcus Garvey when he failed to get Negroes out of daggone America? Yeah, they did. All of a sudden, he was daggone jailed up and pushed to the daggone Caribbean. Because why? Because he failed the assignment. You fail the assignment, you get done. You get finished. You
You
get
get
done away with. Yeah, they're done with you. You lose. Now, had he succeeded, he'd probably be the king of America somewhere, living it up real big up in here. You know, had he done right, he would have really been, he would have gone down as the greatest thing ever, with rich family, rich beyond their dreams. But that doesn't happen when you fail the assignment.
You fail the assignment.
Right.
You fail the assignment.
You cannot do that. And then that's a problem. So right now the churches have failed. They haven't done what they used to do. They can't keep up the pace. They aren't able to get any kind of traction back in the community, and people just don't believe them anymore. So they have to go. So if you think tax exemptions may not leave, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually they start losing their tax exemptions with a quickness. Because in the reality is this, I say, if and when, or maybe I shouldn't say if, when they have to pay the piper, which this corporation will have to pay the piper eventually, whether everybody wakes up or not. They're gonna have to pay. Some people, may not be all the people, but some of us gonna get paid. Okay. And when when it's time for some of us to be paid, they're gonna have that right now. What they're doing is they're remanaging their budget, which means getting rid of the excess, getting rid of these immigrants. This is not just like, oh, Trump is just like anti. He's a fucking immigrant, excuse me, but he's an immigrant, and so is his wife. They're all immigrants. So it's not about just, oh, he's horrible, he's anti-immigrant. No, they're anti anybody who's a low hanging fruit. That's an immigrant, and they got to go. If you came here, the last of the last to come, first to leave. They just barely let these melanated immigrants in the country. They didn't even want them in here except to take our place and today going to take our opportunity away. But it's not working because why? Because we're getting angry about it. Even the people that don't know why they're angry are angry about it. Even the daggone half-ass Pan Africans are getting angry about it. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, they have to make room, make some financial room, okay? Because if they don't actually clear the budget, then they might feel it. They might feel some of the daggone pain of the payback. But if they can make room by getting rid of these excess dollars that they're putting out there, then that's what they got to do. So that means you're not tax exempt. Maybe the churches got to pay taxes. Maybe the immigrants got to go. Maybe a lot of things are going to change for some people because they got to make it so they don't lose their comfort. But at the same time, they're not completely in denial that the fact that they going to have to pay. Like, this is not sustainable. They cannot keep stealing everything from us without some of us getting paid. Everybody might not be ready for it. Everybody might have themselves in the right daggone position to reap the benefits. But the people that are ready are going to have to get paid. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So, I mean, this is part of preparation. Now, what is all this stuff about? Why are they half exposing some of this stuff? Well, what they're doing is it's like I said, they're tearing down that building as they leave, right? So as they expose eating people and trying to make you more and more comfortable with it, it's the same thing they did with like the music, like, where they made the music so bad, so disrespectful. We don't talk about love. We call each other bitches and hoes and this and that. We talk about all kinds of drugs. They promote drugs, right? Oh yeah, they know. Bad saying, but yeah, it's happening. Like I said, it may not happen for everybody, but it's going to have to happen. They're promoting all this stuff. Why? Because they want to tear down what they can. It is always on the agenda. Our destruction is always on the agenda. You have to understand that. And if you don't want to believe, by choosing to not believe the bullshit, you would know that we're always on the agenda for destruction, okay? Just think about the mercury, the lead. Think about all the fluoride. Think about the bad food. Think about the toxic non-food that they're giving us. Think about the bad air, bad water. Think about the daggone injections and jabs they're trying to give us all the time. Think about these new drugs. They got commercials that advertise, and most of them are things that affect who? You. Eczema and things like that. They want you to take these inoculations that's going to ruin your immune system. So when they give you the it takes hold of you and it won't let go. Remember I was telling you about that video I saw about the daggone island? I'll get back to that later.
Right. With the rats?
Yeah.
Explain that, because that's an excellent point.
I wonder if I got it. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if I shared it with you. I might have shared it with you.
Yeah, you shared it with me.
I did. Okay. I didn't know. Okay. So if I shared it with you, let me see if I can find it real quick. But anyway, I shared this video with him the other day because I was tripping when I saw it myself. I was just like, dang, these people are freaking. There was a series of things that I was looking at the other day, and I was just like, dang, they mess up everything, right? Everything that they touch, they mess it up. Okay, so oh yeah, here it is. Let me see if I can I put that over there?
You folks have no idea what honey and cinnamon.
Yeah, here it is. We're gonna skip it. Let's see.
Gladys.
One paid much attention at first, but what happened next would spark one of the most shocking environmental stories scientists had ever seen.
Rats and mice that were killing wildlife and destroying nesting areas.
It started quietly, just a few unexpected changes. But soon, the island itself began to unravel in ways no one could have predicted.
So all the vegetation, which then had impacts on wildlife.
This is the extraordinary story of Macquarie Island, and the shocking results of a simple mistake that spiraled out of control. The island that time forgot. Macquarie Island sits in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by the wild southern ocean. This 34-kilometer stretch of Greenland seemed peaceful enough, but it would become the setting for one of the most shocking ecological experiments in modern history. In 1810, when explorers first found the island, they discovered a place unlike any other on Earth. The beaches teemed with huge elephant seals basking in the sun. Groups of royal penguins made loud, cheerful noises that echoed across the coast. But what truly set this island apart lay beyond the shore. Tall tussock grass moved gently in the wind, forming dense meadows taller than a grown person. Towering megaherbs, like the Macquarie Island cabbage, rose like leafy giants across the land. This was not a normal island. It was a wild Eden, untouched by time, where nature had grown freely for thousands of years. The animals had evolved in isolation. They had no natural predators, and their survival strategies reflected that. Petrels, for instance, spent their days over the open sea during the day and only returned at night to hide in underground burrows. This clever plan had worked perfectly for many generations.
Okay, now let me tell you what ended up happening. Okay, so we talk about the slave trade and all it, and that they just is transporting and Africans to America. And okay, so this is like in the mid 1800s or whatever when they really started coming there, right? Because why they start coming there after they got there, they discovered it in 1810, but they started really going there because they were giant seals. And why? Because they're greedy. They wanted to make money off of all the seals seal skin, seal blubber, whatever the hell. They was trying to kill seals, right? For money. So the way European culture likes to shape things is they like to make it so, they minimize the derogatory, framing of things, right? So the way they say it in this story is that, well, coincidentally, they unknowingly introduced some rats and mice. No, y'all. Okay. Think about how okay. If you got rats and mice, you friggin' know it. Okay. And why do they come? Because you're nasty and you haven't contained some food, right? You haven't secured things. You know what I mean? You haven't eradicated whatever mice and rats are on board, and you haven't kept things cleanly so that they can't get to the food, right? You haven't protected, you haven't sealed off, and you're not keeping things tidy, right? To keep them at bay, right? You have to kill off when you see them, right? They're not. This is what it tells you. That those boats at that time were always full of rats and mice. Full of them. Full of them. It wasn't like, oh, oopsie, No. Weirdly, there was no. That was a common thing. Their boats, and don't think they're not on cruise ships now. Let's not even talk about that. But anyway, rats and mice are very common. That was very common. So the fact that people weren't getting, first of all, that's what caused the plague, right? It was the rats. So how the hell you think they go to Africa getting people and they got rice and rats and mice written boats everywhere they go, all the way into the late 1800s, 1900s, into the 1950s, 1960s. That's been a thing. They are not clean about that. Regulations and death is the only thing that made them, really more death has made them check that somewhat. But the reality is that's been a constant thing, that they don't tidy up, that they don't see the correlation of their filth and the bad outcomes. This is an example of them not seeing what they do and the bad outcomes. So what happened is they introduced these rats and mice. Them daggone things overran the island so bad, right? Now, what the rats and mice did was they were eating birds, baby birds, eggs, everything, baby, complete. They don't even know how many friggin' species became extinct because of these rats and mice, because they ate not only, like I said, the bird, they ate everything, vegetation, eggs, baby birds. These birds they were like, they sit on the ground. They didn't have no defense against these rats and mice because, and the mice took out all the daggone insects. Every little grub, worm, everything that the birds eat, they were eating that. So the mice were eating the birds' food, and the rats were eating the damn birds. And then, so everything was just gone, right? So many things were gone. It decimated the whole freaking island was decimated from being an Eden to being like barren, right? So then they come up with what idea? They're going to bring cats to get the rats and mice. Now, anybody who's had a cat will tell you that a cat ain't going to fight a rat. Not really, no. That's not going to happen, first of all. So the idea that the cats was going to get the rats, that was dumb. And then cats, as far as getting mice, they'll go for a mouse because they're, they may play with it and eat it, but maybe not. But if they had a choice, cats prefer birds. If you know cats, cats prefer birds. So that's what happened. The freaking cats ate more birds and bird babies and shit, and didn't kill none of the rats or the mice, really. So then they're like, oh no, what we gonna do? You know what they did? They said, oh, what we gonna do is give the cats something else to attack, and brought in rabbits. Y'all know what rabbits do? Rabbits reproduce like rabbits. So these rabbits, they friggin' jacked shit up. Like everything left vegetation wise, they got it. Okay? They got it. And of course, cats do never kill a rabbit. They don't kill rabbits. Yo, no, that doesn't happen. But the rabbits overran even the daggone rats in numbers, because that's what rabbits do. They reproduce like rabbits. So this is what the Europeans do. Okay, this is an example of what the great Europeans do. All right, this is an example of how they ruin everything. So then they go ahead and they say, okay, what are we going to do with these rabbits? You know what they did for the rabbits? The same thing they thought they did for us. They created a virus. They created a rabbit killing virus and dosed those rabbits with the virus. And it worked. The virus they designed to kill the rabbits worked. Don't think that virus for the rabbits did not inspire viruses for your ass. Don't think that it didn't. So they say in this video that they created a virus to kill the rabbits, and it friggin' worked. And they dosed them with it by air, by droplets, by food, every way they could. They dosed them rabbits with this virus, and it worked. But then they had all these dead rabbits. So they had to get the dead rabbits. So they had crews out there and hazmats trying to get the dead rabbits and shit. That wasn't enough. They had to get specialized dogs to hunt the rabbits, the dead or alive. Find if there were any live batches of rabbits on the island and get those too. That's what they did. This is something that took all kinds of decades and decades of work. And they was working on this well into the 1900s, right? Trying to fix what they screwed up. No, sorry. They've been working on this as late as the 2000s. I'm sorry, I'm incorrect. They ruined it, and then they've been working on it in the 2000s, 2007 or something like that. That's when they dosed the virus. So this is recent, right? Recent, we're gonna virus up the rabbits. You see? So this is the thing. Everything they do, you know, they try to shine like it's brilliant and stuff. But when you look at what they do, you're like, these people are the biggest idiots ever. And everything they do, they destroy. Stop believing the bullshit and start analyzing. We were talking the other day and we were saying something about, I saw a video about, well, in the middle of the United States, only 1% of the population is there. And I was like, and that it says it goes all the way from, whatever, Canada, down Alaska, whatever, down to New Mexico or whatever. And I was like, so why is only 1% of the population there, you know? Then I see another video. There's a line of trees that goes from the middle of the country all the way up from Canada down to, New Mexico. I said, okay, now there's a line of trees. Why is that there? Oh, yeah, it's a very interesting fact that this line of trees was planted as a result of the Dust Bowl. Oh, okay. The Dust Bowl, I heard of that. Yo, they created the Dust Bowl because they freaking don't know how to farm, yo. And so the Dust Bowl decimated families, killed people, and then people ran out of there. They left that part of the country because of that crap. And then they had to build a lot of trees because everything was so freaking run through and ruined that it was created all this dust and wind and hello? The same thing happened with that island. They let them creatures run rampant till they had, just like the edge of the daggone island was falling off into the water because there was no vegetation to hold the soil together. They were having all kinds of sinkholes and falling daggone edges of the island. Let me tell you, there's that in Alabama. They said that there's a canyon in Alabama that was created by bad farming. A canyon from bad farming. At first I didn't believe it, but then when you think about the Dust Bowl and you think about what they did to this island, yeah, that's highly probable because they don't know what they're doing and they lie all the time, and then everything they do to try to fix it, it becomes worse. It becomes worse because they don't align them. They're not aligned with nature. We are aligned with nature and they want us gone. Exactly. It is like they're not aligned to they don't have a home. They're not organic. It's like, yeah, they counter everything natural. They do. Y'all, I mean, it's not that, I don't know how long this video is, but I found it quite amusing how daggone ignorant these suckers are and all the destruction they did by bringing one critter after another and one dumb idea after another. And these are the scientists that everybody's like, talk to science. Use the science. What's the facts? No, stop it. You don't know. These people don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. And why do you trust or believe them? I don't understand it. If you start looking at it and thinking about things, you'll realize they've done nothing but wrong, and they continue to do it. Now, what happened to the Ukrainians?
So that's how all their stories normally go. They make a big stink out of it, then it just fades away.
Because it ain't real. Because real things have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Some kind of resolution or ending. Some kind of outcome, right? Not just the beginning. Kids are decimated at a school. We don't hear nothing in the middle or the end of that. Huh? Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
All of a sudden, Black Lives Matter. Then they don't.
This Dust Bowl is it's very interesting.
Go on with that.
So the Dust Bowl is when they were giving your land away to settlers coming in. And they were too dumb to farm the land, like Lisa said. They were giving them acres of your land. So, when we say we're indigenous, we got to look at places like these places. We have to look at places like Arkansas, Kansas, because people live there too. Wyoming, Montana, they weren't called these things then. The people were most likely killed off or ran off, and people came and settled on their land. We have to look at stuff like that. When I was growing up, one of my homeboys, his mama was from Iowa. And she was real cool, but she wasn't like all the other mothers. She was different. I mean, her whole makeup was different. And I asked her what she said, where she was from one day, and she said Iowa. And I was like, all I heard was people coming from down south. And she said Iowa. So these places, when you're doing your genealogy, you might find people up there. Shoot, Lisa had a part of that was from some people who were from Canada. Remember, there was no borders then. There wasn't no border that said United States and Canada. There wasn't counties. Those are people getting your land. Got to teach our kids that, because most of them don't know it today. What you think your next generation, will we aiming for zero? Not knowing nothing? So yeah, Lisa, thanks for bringing that up. I'm gonna do some research on this, the Dust Bowl, because I've heard of it, but I never really got into it. Also, that was the time when the railroad started going up.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So that's probably a time in history of many of you, if you want to look up history and look at what was going on up there. Because sometimes when we talk about, doing genealogy and looking for our family, we look for the South and the East. We don't look all over. And you can be from those places. Your people can be from those places. So yeah, Dust Bowl. I'm gonna check that out, Lisa. Thanks. I'm gonna do some research on that. But yeah, they said that.
We have to follow up on some of this stuff, because the Dust Bowl, yes, and also find out about that daggone canyon. I haven't looked into the canyon, but when I read that it was caused by poor farming practices, I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, when you see how bad how badly they treat this planet, oh yeah, it's possible they could ruin everything, ruin the soil, ruin the earth, create craters, create daggone avalanches, all kinds. They do that. They do that all the time. Destruction, and what about the fires? What about the fires that happen for no reason? What about the smoke that was in the air for no reason? See, we always got these headlines, but there ain't nothing that follows through or follows behind it.
Black it out.
Unexplained.
What do you call it? Redacted. Wipe it from the people's minds. So I'm gonna share this with you guys. How many of you heard it? Now I just talked to a sister who's from here, and she never heard of this. Do you guys know there's a mini Grand Canyon in Missouri? There's a mini Grand Canyon in so when all these immigrants come over here, I know y'all go to Disneyland and Magic Mountain and all that bullshit. When these immigrants come over here, they be looking at the natural phenomenon of this planet, which many of us haven't even heard of.
Right.
Because that's where a lot of our people are from. In those places, those were sacred places to our people. And then people come building stuff like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles, and we just want to follow them there. Don't we? Oh no, huh? Nobody told me you supposed to know. You supposed to at least know your home. Guess who don't know theirs? There's a mini Grand Canyon. And there's thousands of places in America just like that. She was just telling you about Alabama.
When you start checking the BS, when we need to we got to start noticing it first of all, but then you got to start checking it. Like where are these victims? Where are the arrests? See, we don't demand no follow through with nothing. That's why they're able to just do this performance art all over our asses, and that's all they got to do is perform, and we good with that. We believe it. Why do we care about what Jay-Z does? I don't give a damn. Okay, what Jay-Z does or doesn't do. I don't give a shit about P. Diddy and his baby all. Fuck him and his baby all too. And any grown ass woman that has some damn bullshit to do with him. If you grown, you grown. I don't give a fuck what you do. Who cares? Who cares? But guess what? It takes us away. We as Negroes, they know what we are. We love it being entertained. That's why we are great entertainers. We enjoy being distracted. I get it. I like it too, sure. But there's a limit. Not when it costs me my life and my livelihood, and not when it daggone damages my future for my heirs. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth the distraction. It's not worth being entertained. There's no amount of P. Diddy, Jay-Z, or horror, or, isn't this crazy with this Epstein? No, it's not entertainment. If you're going to bring this stuff up to me in the news, you damn well better have an outcome that is going to be legitly satisfying, because this is not, so far it hasn't happened. All I hear about is Ukrainian war. Next thing I know, the Ukraine's got to come here. Why? They got a whole damn country that's not in war. They got a whole damn country that's not being bombed. Everything ain't in Ukraine. They show one picture of an old bomb where they done demolished some damn buildings, and you believe it's a war. Meanwhile, they got cities all over the place that have not been affected at all. But you don't believe that because we're not thinking. So then they act like they have this excuse to bring white breeders into the country, and no white breeders wanted to come here. They offered them free tuition. They offered them free room and board at the daggone black HBCU damn places, and hardly nobody came. Why? Because they ain't trying to be over here. They're the only people probably got some damn sense. Now you don't hear nothing about it. Now you can see some of them. They are around. Now, I ain't saying they ain't here. They are here. In Canada, they made they took whole military bases and made them into like a homes for the Ukrainians and whoever the whatnots, you know. The war was just a big front to try to get more white breeders here. You know that, right? It wasn't about. There was no war. It was just like mass import Ukrainians and give them government housing. But we have to if we give them government housing, somebody might get upset about it. So we have to have a pretext. The pretext is they're at war. Everybody wins. They get rid of their breeders that they don't want. They're undesirable. I don't know what. They get paid. Everybody, money exchanges, you know. Like we don't have homeless here. Yeah, we got tons of it. But they want the homeless, because our homeless, they can say, "Oh, you're homeless. We got to take your children." And then they take their children and they feed them to the human flesh eating wealthy globalists, right? So it's a win-win, right? And then we try not to believe that we have slavery. Oh, slavery, we need reparations because of slavery. If I hear another person on one of these apps talk about reparations, FBA bullcrap for slavery, slavery ain't over. What do you mean? It never ended.
You know, I find that amazing that people really think that it's over. Now, if there's somebody in the audience who's, please come up and explain how it's over. You think that other people can come over to your house, take up all your resources, make money off your resources off of you? Explain how that's not slavery. Because we have a lot of people who've been so-called educated. Remember, 4.0 grade average simply means that you're operating on the 4th grade level. I don't care if you go to the University of the Moon. That's what it means. All this education we got going on in the world, and this is where we're at. Explain. See, and one thing about the Negro, you got to keep this in mind. He always going to turn to his boss for answers. Always. He's not going to have one for you. She's not going to have one for you. In any part of the government, that government is set up to run a certain way. Those of you who don't know it, I feel for you. But come on. This is Rome. This is set up off other people's ideas, not yours. And so with this whole Epstein thing and all this with the children and stuff, okay. You got people giving up their kids so they can go to Dubai. Listening to these people, financiers and billionaires. What? Where are they getting all these billions from? Eating up your land. coming up with new ways to make you pay them rent on your own land. You can go to their land and make them pay you rent and then stick your chest out like you doing something. All you're doing is putting the children deeper and deeper in a hole. And to show you what I'm talking about, we were talking earlier about this whole fiasco that's going on. In a minute, they're going to have to cut the fat. They're already cutting the fat. Guess who's going to be front and center, top of the line? You. The boat is sinking, y'all. Don't get caught up rowing the boat. That's all I got, Lisa.
Well, I just want people to understand that today is just like it was before. In the 1600s, in the 1700s, and in the 1800s, there were people just like us who were unaffected by what the system was doing to others, right? Some of us were very prosperous in what we were doing, whether it was trading, shipping, farming, building. We were insulated from whatever befell some of us that were a little less fortunate, right? So that if somebody got caught up in debt and having to indenture themselves or their kids out, that was the people across the way down the way, right? Yeah, I heard, Chi-Chi and, BB and Ho-Ho, they got, had to go be indentured. Their mom got, their husband died, and, you know what I'm saying? That's the way slavery happened. It just like today, we are not impacted by those that get caught up in the system of, I'm actually farming cotton in Louisiana and not getting paid, or I'm actually farming vegetables in Virginia, or working in whatever, coal mines in Kentucky or whatever, and not getting paid. We don't know about what's going on, what kind of work that's being done, making people rich for nothing, and this contract, these contract prison systems. Okay, it is happening right in our faces, just like back then. It happened right in folks' faces, but everybody wasn't impacted about it or actually aware of it. You got to understand. We got to get to a level of enlightenment where we have to understand that history is happening in real time. So when they call us African American and they call, George Washington Carver African American, when they call what is the guy who did the Woodson, what's his name?
Carter G. Woodson.
Carter G. Woodson, an African American, that's ethnocide in our faces that we are actually permitting to happen, right? We're co-signing on that, because if you don't protest, then you're consenting. So we got to understand, we got to kind of look at things differently. Is slavery going on now? Do we have people being trafficked, and are their children being lost and being used? Nobody really wants to look that in the face, because that means that all kinds of slavery is going on now, and we don't really want to believe that. We feel more comfortable thinking it's something in the past. It makes us feel better. Shh, let's let's not think about it. Let's not think about it. Let's not think about it. That slavery is now. Let's not think about it. That people being enslaved for sex or cotton or coal or whatever they're being used to mine or however they're being manipulated is slavery today. Not much different from slavery in the past at all. But by keeping everybody siloed and by us siloing ourselves, like, the three monkeys, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, by closing our eyes, minds, ears, mouths to what's going on around us perpetuates the problem. All I want to say is if we're not part of the solution, we are part of this problem. And is Epstein any more disgusting than people that are more scintillated by the list and what's being said is done than to actually be outraged and demand arrest, demand resolution, demand finding these daggone people that are daggone the so-called victims. When this everything, like Carrie said, everything is like they are looking at us in a fishbowl. Okay, let's see what they do. Let's see what they do. Okay, we'll release the list. Let's see what they do. See if they really good and mad and they're out there and they're outraged and they're really like, we want. No, there's nobody marching in the street with torches over this. There's nobody saying, well, no. We're such knuckle brains, like Carrie said, that we think you catch the bad, he's the bad guy. He's not the bad guy. As a matter of fact, there is no the bad guy. It's a whole freaking network of bad actors, guys, girls, shims. There's a whole bunch of daggone bad actors that are involved in this network of evil, and they haven't caught or looked for not a one. But we want to just sit back and say, oh, he's dead. They caught him and bonus, he's dead. So now you can just rest at ease, right? We're that stupid? We're that complacent? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm making you feel some kind of way. It doesn't make you feel good. I'm sorry. Sorry, this doesn't make you people feel good. There's a lot not to feel good about, unfortunately, going on and has been. But we can only feel good after we've done something, anything, to try to counter it, I think. I don't know. Say something, at least. Do something. But on the bright side, I will end it this way. The most powerful thing that we can do is to be confident, to have our own minds, to focus and on thinking for ourselves, investigating for ourselves. Having that kind of confidence is paramount to our success. Not only that, but we also, you can't have fear, but you also have to have confidence, and you also have to keep your mind from being manipulated. So you have to maintain your own frame of thinking. And if you make that a goal, that you keep your own frame of thinking, as most of the people in the chat, because our Chat you got an amazing chat here. Carrie, but the reality is, the more people that keep focused on the facts, that's how we're going to win. The more people that are fearless, because there's nothing to fear. You got a bunch of buffoons out there that have got us whipped around because they study us well. And touch me, they got to do a lot of studying because they're not very bright. So you got a bunch of buffoons running us around in circles. And so what do you fear? Yourself. Your lack of confidence is the problem. So what I am manifesting for us today is that we have abundance in our faith in ourselves. Our faith becomes abundant. Our confidence becomes abundant. And that our will to fight becomes the most powerful that it's ever been. I manifest that our understanding of our right to live abundantly, that is our right, and that it is at hand. But you're not going to get it if you don't claim it. And you're not going to be able to claim it if you do not stop being distracted by the bullshit. And don't be afraid. There is nothing that you need to be afraid about. Not anything. Death, pain. There's nothing. Everything that's not, if you're not going to survive it, you're not going to survive it. You won't know. And if it's survivable, then it's survivable. So what are you afraid of? Don't fear anything. Don't avoid anything because of what is inside your head. That's where they live. Go beyond that. You're bigger than this. That's all I got to say.
Well, cool, y'all. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. So, now is the time. And those of you can see it, and I'm sure many of you can see what's going on. Point it out to the ones younger than you. Point it out to those who are younger, who's replacing you, who's taking. And we'll see you next time. Okay, you guys have a good night. Peace. I got to get that. If you're going to be up for a minute.